What if the technologies to solve the energy crisis already exist, but the world is too slow to connect to the science, policy, and technology? Welcome to the Sustainability Side, where we explore ideas, breakthrough innovations, and people shaping more sustainable future. Today's episode, we dive into one of the most important questions of our time. Are we focusing on a wrong climate solution? While much of the world talks about net zero targets, carbon efforts, and traditional renewable energies, there are emerging technologies that could radically transform our future, from thorium-based nuclear systems to green mining innovations and advanced industrial solutions. Joining us today is Dusya Lyubovskaya, a global ambassador, strategist, and a connector working at the intersection of clean energy, advanced materials, and real world innovation. So, her space collaborations with organizations such as the Thorium Network and the International Plasma Research Institute helps bringing the gap between the breakthrough of the science and the practical implementation. In this conversation, we will explore the next generation energy systems, the ethical resource extraction, and a stronger global collaborations which could move us beyond the promises and into the real world solutions. So before I get into it, let's have our intro.
Sing it loud, let's unite on the sustainability side. Feel the love day and night. Let's turn the tides, make a change today. Together we define our sustainable way. With every step we take, we rise and glow on the sustainability side. Let the good vibes flow.
Hello, Dusya. Welcome to the Sustainability Side. And I'm so glad that you're here with us. We are going to talk a lot about thorium, greenwashing, and everything, basically the clean energy. So tell me, how are you feeling right now?
Thank you, Dr. Samia. I am doing great. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, and I'm glad to be here.
Thank you so much. And how you came into this journey of biotechnology, clean energy, how the path of the global strategy shaped you. A little bit about yourself.
Sure. From this start, I served as a global ambassador with three organizations, including the Thorium Network and the EPRI.K. And the way it started was originally I was in the medical field. I was working in the medical field at a hospital as well. I was studying medical sciences. And main reason why I was working in the medical field was because I'm an only child and because I had to be the breadwinner. And I was going to go into sciences. So I decided, and my late father at the time, he had a friend in the medical field and said, this person you're going to work with, and you're going to work there, and then you're going to be here. To me, I decided, okay, this is my first exposure to the medical field. I wanted to go into research originally. Working in the medical field will be like a practice for me. And so I started with Harvard. I started actually working right before graduating high school. And I worked for a couple of years while I was studying medical sciences. I was taking care of my parents as well as working and going to school. But the thing is, I was studying medical science, and while I was working, I worked a lot with cancer patients and patients who were geriatrics and other health issues. However, for some reason, I was working a lot with cancer patients wasn't my choice. It was just something that just happened. And I did not appreciate the experience that I had. And I don't mean that I didn't like working in the field. It was more so that I did not agree with the treatment options that the patients had. Like there was chemotherapy, radiation, and there were some other treatments. And I kept seeing the side effects. And the more I studied medical sciences, like I would keep going in my studies, and the more I would climb up the ladder in the medical field, I would keep talking to the doctors and saying, is there anything else out there? They would constantly look at me like I had two heads, like I was crazy. And
Hmm.
so I just stopped asking because if they don't, like, if they look at me like I'm crazy and I know I'm not crazy, but I know I just had the feeling like, okay, there has to be something out there. There has to be more out there. But if they don't understand what I'm talking about, I decided to stop asking. And even when I would ask my professor at university, even they would say, there are other options, which are no
Mm.
response. And
Okay.
What is a pickle? To some, it's just a condiment. To us, it is time captured, ancient herbal wisdom of the land, distilled in 100% pure ingredients. From the blood-purifying depth of bitter gourd to the restorative strength of the pirindai stem, we bottle nature's boldest essence. This is not just pickle. This is tradition, purity. This is heritage, preserved, crafted by nature, perfected by time.
And later on, I wasn't taking a break, but my academic advisor suddenly had the idea that I should take also other classes, other courses. So although I was focusing on medical science, but my academic advisor, I want to take more other courses, not related, like general studies, like everything related to general studies. I didn't understand why, but I said, okay, I'll do that. And so I took journalism, I took psychology, I took law as well, and also I took engineering. So my academic advisor offered me engineering courses, and I decided I'll do that because I had some distant relatives who were engineers. So I thought I don't know if I plan to go into engineering, but at least I have an idea what they were doing in that field. And yeah, so I took a break from medical sciences and was studying engineering. And when I was studying engineering, that's when I discovered nuclear energy, fission energy.
Oh.
And it was like, oh, that's what I did. And the ironic part was I was not even supposed to focus on that. I was supposed to, they had a couple of options. So my professor had options. The engineer was so solar energy, wind energy, geothermal. I chose geothermal energy.
Mm.
And because I saw some videos on YouTube from Iceland or someplace, and I thought that looks interesting, I'm going to do that. But at the same time, I was Googling and I found nuclear energy. And so I checked my professor and said, I just started my geothermal energy project, but may I switch it to that's not on the syllabus? I
Oh.
said, okay, I said, okay, but may I at least take a look at it? Maybe like, no, that's not on the syllabus, like that's last words. Like, okay.
Mm.
And so I decided, okay, I'm going to continue my geothermal paper, but I still want to know about nuclear energy because if I say I've never heard of it and I want to know what that is, so even though it's
Mm.
not on my syllabus, at least I could do my own research. Nobody can stop me from doing my own research.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I Googled a lot. Besides, I'm a fast learner. I learn very much when it's hands-on,
Mm.
watching or listening to lectures and watching like videos, images, and things like that. So that's the best way for me to study. I was looking desperately almost for videos on nuclear energy to learn more. And I didn't even know that I was watching videos of the most famous engineers in the world. I had no idea. But I found people like Kirk Sorensen and some from Atomic and things like that. And when I was watching the videos and they were talking about nuclear energy, they were not only talking about the engineering part, they were also talking about the medical benefits of
Mm.
nuclear. And I realized that's it. Why is nobody talking about it? This is like, okay, this is the answer I've been asking from my professors and at the work, and nobody was talking about. And I finally found what I was looking for. And so I looked for everything I could find. I Googled it. I even read a book nuclear energy. The book was not so great because it was from 1970. So I realized, okay, what I'm reading is from 97. That's like way before I was born. Probably the science is still new or is still not so great. But these videos from these nuclear experts, they're from I don't know 2000 something. So this is much more updated, and they're talking about science, the most recent science that exists right now. And so I'm
Mm.
looking more at these YouTube videos, and I googled everything I could on nuclear energy, and I discovered medical isotopes, and that wow, this is amazing. And then I googled some more, as I usually do. I try not to go too down the rabbit hole, as they say, but when I want to find answers, I go as deep as possible. So I found then the Thorium Network website. I looked at that and I thought, oh my gosh, this is amazing. They have
Mm.
so much information. It's so transparent about every field in nuclear energy. I thought, okay, this is better than anything I could even find online. I mean, I know it sounds childish, but I thought this is like anybody who works in the science field wants to see this. Again, I've been doing a lot of laboratory work, and I thought anybody who works in laboratory would love to see this. So I'm just so excited. And I looked at it. This is really this like Disneyland for adults, like anybody in the science field. And so I read everything I could on the website. Of course, I've been updated throughout the years. But I read about the international about the regulations, read about medical isotopes, I read about everything related to nuclear energy. And I have honestly no idea what I was planning at that point. I just decided I'm just going to send a message to that organization, just say I just think you guys are amazing. I didn't care what was going to happen. I just got so upset. I don't care what happened. I don't care if I'm embarrassing myself. I don't care. I want to let them know you guys, whatever you're doing, it's amazing. And so I wrote a message, and shortly thereafter, the president just personally reached out and
Wow.
offers me a call. And so we had it was more like kind of interview, getting to know you, and etc. And so I just started talking about what I do, and he just wants to be my CV for whatever reason. Uh, I explained, you know what? I think what you do is amazing. I don't understand what you're doing exactly, but I think it's the most best thing that science has to offer. And
Mm,
so he then just asked about if you volunteer for us. And I said, okay, but I have no idea. I'm new to this nuclear field. I'm just
mm,
studying this and I'm new to it. I said, don't worry about it. You can you learn by doing. You can research articles on nuclear energy and you can post about them. And you'll be
mm.
learning by reading, by doing the research. And he was speaking my language because I'm a hands-on learner. And so I said, okay, well, what if I make mistakes? Or like, you're learning. It's a learning experience. And I thought, okay,
Exactly.
I'll do it. And so I started with our network. I started as a volunteer first. I then um, evolved or climbed the ladder. I became willing to
Mm-hmm.
start doing social media. And this was around 2020. Coincidentally, at that same time, when I started with the Tor network, I had another conversation with my academic advisor.
Mm.
And although I did not talk about my personal life, my academic advisor said, you know what, you said you need to be challenged. All these classes are not challenging me. Like, what are you talking about? You're taking all these classes and you're being challenged, but you need something more. And he said,
Mm.
I think you should go into biotech. What is biotech? He said, you can learn everything about science, everything, farming, about agriculture, climate change, everything, nuclear related subjects. And he had no idea that I was focusing on that. And I said, okay, I'll do that. And so I went to biotech. And again, I've been doing more research in laboratory. I started climbing up the ladder. I started doing more paperwork. I started studying more. And 2, 3 years, something into that, I was doing my diploma, my doctor, and my professor says, don't go so far. Like, don't do that. Like, hey, I'm enjoying it. This makes so much more sense than anything else I did. And so obviously I switched from medical science to biotech, and I started climbing up, and I wrote papers. And I said, you said, please do not write two doctor books. Seriously, I'm unstoppable. You can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I started in the quick period, if you will.
That's beautiful journey. You are a beautiful inspiration. Like, you know what? If you want it, you can do it. Doesn't matter where you are at, what field you choose. If you have a passion towards the something, and say universe will give it to you when you have a
Yeah.
passion towards something. When you feel like your purpose is not met, you are still going towards your calling. It will give back to you,
Hmm.
and you took that opportunity. You narrated a beautiful story, definitely for me and everybody listening and watching who are hesitant to pursue towards their dream. This is a good opportunity. You have created an amazing inspiration, good quality to be a global ambassador. You just proved it here. It was so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. So moving on, the next question, I'm going to go through the thorium. Okay, so thorium is gained a renewable energy, and it has a massive attention globally. So for listeners and for people like me, which are not much familiar, those who are unfamiliar with it, what makes thorium different from the conventional nuclear fuels? Why it's different?
Here's the thing. Helium is like an umbrella term. Nuclear is part of it. So the best way, so there's the thing, there's fission and there's fusion energy. And I know that a lot of people confuse that, and I don't blame them honestly, because when you hear fission, fusion, it sounds the same. It sounds the same to you. And that's when you've been in the field, you know, oh no, we're not talking about that. We talk about fusion or vice versa. The
Mm.
thing is, fusion energy is like sun. It's a different quality with fission energy, there's a lot of like there's this uranium and all the other stuff. I'm not going to go into detail, but here's the thing. When people talk about nuclear energy, unfortunately, they think about nuclear weapons. That's just one
Mm.
example. That's not a problem, but it's understandable because you can use nuclear, but it depends on what you use. If you're using fission energy, FISSION, I'm
Mm.
intentionally spelling it out, you're
Mm.
using a different quality of it, a different quality of these chemicals, if you will, use as electricity.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
it's like imagine entire alphabet from A to Z, but if you
Mm.
move to the last two letters, then you have something that's so harmless that can be used
Mm.
for anything. You can use it for electricity, you can use it for medical purposes. I mean, you can use it for even for farming. It's
Mhm.
harmless and it's clean and it's healthy. If you use
That's
another part,
wow.
that's where it gets tricky. And that's
Mm.
why we do talk about nuclear energy, but because people say, oh, but nuclear weapons and Hiroshima and all that stuff, fission energy is a safe, and that's why we have a part of our network that has safe fission, because fission is the safest chemical, if you will, on
Mm.
Earth or in the galaxy. I'm going to look at that part. It's the
That's
safest.
really refreshing to know that. Yeah.
Yes. And so people are not really aware of that, which is fine. That's understandable. We are nuclear weapons. No, again, if you remove two letters from the entire alphabet, you have something that you can use, like the thorium molten salt that as small as for cooking purposes. That tiny salt purpose can be used for electricity because it can like this teeny tiny amount, like a baby part, if you will. It can be used to as electricity for the entire city or entire country. You can you can use for
Wow.
entire country. And the same thing you can also use similar to that. I'm not going to go into too many detail, but similar to that, you can use a little bit of it for medical purposes. My personal interest is cancer treatments
Mm.
because for me personally, well, not for me personally, but for my medical, because of my medical background, I did not like how what side effects happen from chemotherapy and radiation. I focused on the molten salt for cancer treatments because I want to make sure that people have a treatment that they can handle, if you will, because every cancer treatment there's some kind of side effect, and I'm working on
Mm.
for most of for medical isotopes. That's my specialty, my personal focus. But generally speaking, fission energy is so seriously, you cannot imagine how much you can there's so many benefits to it. You can use it for agriculture, as I mentioned. If there's like right now when people are doing farming, they use pesticides and they
Yeah.
use all the toxicity. I personally am trying to buy everything organic. Honestly, I'm at the point where my body's like saying, no, it's not acceptable. No, I'm buying organic. So I'm using organic when I buy fruits and vegetable. I buy everything organic because then I know such hope there's not with pesticide. But when you use fission energy, these little isotopes, it cleans it and it helps healthy growth. That's what I
Mm.
like, healthy growth. And
Mm.
even the animals who live in the forest, like what happened in Chernobyl, are they're healthy. They're so healthy.
Okay. That's really refreshing. I feel like I was from the dark room and suddenly I'm in a light room. Lot of informations. That's true. Like, definitely a lot of us, when we think about nuclear, we go to the negative side of it because definitely when what we hear is not good.
Mm.
So the mind works in that way. And thank you for such a beautiful eye opening for everybody. You know what? This is really what it means. You just shared us the beautiful information. In a nutshell, those who are listening, I would say, Wakanda has vibranium, just like the thorium in the real world. I would say it has a limited resources, but it's beautiful. It's a clean energy. It has a lot of
Mhm.
good qualities, from medical sciences to all the household electricity. I mean, it's mind blowing actually. So thank you for eye opening. It's really refreshing.
As we wrap today's episode, it is clear for us now the future of the clean energy, which is not just about the innovation, and it is about the alignment, and it is about the perspective that how we see it. So from thorium energy to green mining, a global collaboration, today's conversation reminded us the solution already exists. We just have to go to it, get to know about it, and connect the dots between science, policy, and action. And a big thank you to Dusya Lyubovskaya for sharing us such a powerful insight and showing us what it truly means to be a connector in today's world. And if you found this very valuable for the today's episode, give your love and support to our lovely Dusya, and follows the sustainability side and the Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, and share this episode with someone who you care about the future of the green energy, the clean energy, and of course, who loves the sustainability part. And if you are someone working on innovation, climate tech, and an impactful ideas, this platform is for you. The sustainability side is more than a podcast, it's a platform where people, the thinkers, the doers, and the change makers can get together and share their views, ideas, and about it. It is the platform for professionals, people who are into the green businesses, volunteers, students, and as well as the academicians. Here you can grow together with your fellow members. You can be a part of a big change, or you can be on the episode, or you can be a guest in our special episodes of the sustainability site, to collaborate and to also participate in upcoming webinars and conferences. So let's make this happen. Reach out to us through our links in the description, and you can join our social media networks. There's a group in the LinkedIn and the WhatsApp. Feel free to join. All the links are given in the description below. So this is the sustainability side, where ideas meet action and our conversation create an impact. So if you want to be a part of it, feel free to join us. As I always say, sustainability is not mine, it's ours. Until next time, take care, stay safe, curious, and is only on the sustainability side.
Feel the joy, let's unite.